Bas Rutten is one of the early fighters who brought a lot of fans to the world of MMA because of his highlights. He's a former UFC heavyweight champion and a 3 times King of Pancrase world champion. He has a 2nd degree black belt in Taekwondo and 5th degree black belt in Kyokushin Karate. Before starting his MMA career, Bas fought in kickboxing and had a record of 14-2, which he finished all of the 14 wins by knockout. Soon, he started fighting in MMA and gathered a record of 28 wins, 4 losses and 1 draw, which 11 of the wins came by knockout and 14 by submission. In this video, we go over all his knockouts and submissions during his MMA career. Bas' MMA debut was in Pancrase in the openweight division against Ryushi Yanagisawa. One of the rules in Pancrase is that you can't punch the face close-fisted. Ryushi was 45 pounds heavier than him, but this didn't stop Bas to be able to knock him out. In the 45th second of the fight, Bas connected with a heavy strike with the open palm, followed by a knee, which knocked Ryushi out and ended the fight. 1 month later, Bas fought Tokaku Fuke. At that time, although Bas was excellent on a stand-up, but he was weak on the ground. Tokaku, being a wrestler, kept taking Bas down, and at one time he had him in an armbar, which made Bas to grab the ropes to be stood up. In Pancrase, you could escape a submission up to 5 times by grabbing the ropes, and each time you did it, 1 time would be deducted until you use all your points. After standing up, Bas had Tokaku in a clinch and connected with a heavy knee to the liver, which dropped him and ended the fight. Bas worked on his ground game and fought Vernon White next. He was able to submit Vernon via a guillotine choke when he had him in half guard in the 2nd minute of the fight. Bas's next opponent was Kazuo Takahashi. This fight showed Bas was getting better on the ground and was able to escape submissions and even try his own knee submission on Kazuo, which made Kazuo to grab the ropes and the fight was stood up. However, the damage was done to the knee and few seconds later, Kazuo dropped while holding his knee and couldn't continue to fight. Bas fought Minoru Suzuki next. The majority of the fight was spent on the ground, while Suzuki had Bas mounted, connecting with the strikes. But in the 4th minute of the fight, when Bas was standing up, he connected a heavy knee to the liver, which shot Suzuki's body down and ended the fight. Four months later, Bas fought Jason DeLucia. In the 2nd minute of the fight, Jason tried to take Bas down but was caught in a guillotine and tapped out. Next in line was Manabu Yamada. This was another quick finish by Bas. Yamada took Bas down in the 1st minute of the fight, but he was able to reverse the position in the process and come on top. Bas then choked out Yamada by an arm triangle while mounting him, which ended the fight. Tokaku Fuke and Bas fought for the 2nd time. Bas again showed he was improving on the ground. When Tokaku took him down, Bas had him in his guard and tried an armbar, which made Tokaku to grab the ropes to not tap. But just few seconds later, They again ended up on the ground, and this time Bas tried an inverted heel hook which made Takako to tap immediately. Bas's next opponent was Maurice Smith. In the 3rd minute of the fight, Smith took Bas down, but Bas reversed the position and had Smith in half guard. Bas tried the knee bar and Smith had to tap, which gave Bas his 9th finish in his MMA career. Bas fought Jason DeLucia for the 2nd time. In the 3rd minute of the fight, Jason mounted Bas and went for a heel hook submission, but Bas did a toe hold submission on him and Jason had to immediately tap. Few months later, Bas fought Minoru Suzuki for the 2nd time for Pancrase Openweight Championship title. The fight was set up for 1 round of 30 minutes. Suzuki kept taking Bas down and was on top for the majority of the fight. In the 12th minute, Suzuki had Bas in a knee bar, which made Bas to grab the ropes to get out of it. In the 15th minute of the fight, Suzuki took Bas down but was caught in a guillotine in the process, which made him tap, and Bas became the king of Pancrase in the openweight division. Rutten fought Maurice Smith next for the 2nd time. The majority of the fight was spent on the ground. In the 5th minute of the fight, Smith took Bas down and was on top until Bas was able to reverse the position and take Smith's back. Rutten attempted a rear naked choke on Smith, which made him tap and ended the fight. Bas had a rematch with Ryushi Yanikasawa next, who he fought in his Pancrase debut. Ryushi kept taking Bas down and they exchanged a lot of positions until in the 12th minute of the fight, Rutten had Ryushi in a rear naked choke, which made Ryushi to grab the ropes to escape. Few minutes later, Bas attempted an armbar from the guard, which made Ryushi to grab the ropes and another point was deducted. Only a few seconds later, Bas had Ryushi in another armbar, which made him to grab the ropes again. Few minutes later, Ryushi was caught in a guillotine from the guard and had to use his last chance of escape from submission by grabbing the ropes. But this didn't stop Bas to do another submission on Ryushi. In the 28th minute of the fight, Rutten attempted a rear naked choke, and this time Ryushi tapped out and Bas won the fight. Bas fought Guy Mezger next. Mezger is excellent at wrestling and taekwondo. During the fight, Guy kept taking Bas down and had him in the mount position. In the 20th minute, Mezger was on top and went for a knee bar but switched to an ankle lock. But Bas did the same thing to him and Mezger tapped for Bas to win the fight via submission. To defend his title, Bas fought Jason DeLucia for the 3rd time. This time, the majority of the fight was spent standing while both fighters exchanged a lot of strikes. In the 9th minute of the fight, Bas connected with a heavy liver shot, which made Jason to go on the ground for the first countdown. In Pancrase, if you don't get up by the count of 10, you lose the fight. But Jason got up and continued to fight. Bas knew Jason was hurt and again went for the liver shot, which made Jason to go on the ground again for the countdown. Jason got up again just to receive another liver shot only a few seconds later. This time, Delusha went on the ground, but he couldn't get up and Bas won the fight by knockout. Bas put his belt on the line against Masakatsu Funaki next. Bas was the superior fighter and was able to connect with a lot of punches during the fight. He made Funaki to go on the ground 3 times. In the 18th minute of the fight, Bas connected with a heavy knee to the head, which made Funaki to go on the ground for the 4th time, and this time he didn't get up and Bas won the fight via knockout. Bas defended his title against Manabu Yamada next. Rutten was able to get an ankle lock right at the beginning of the fight and make Yamada tap. Bas's next finish was against Takaku Fuke. In the 2nd minute of the fight, Bas had Takaku in an armbar, which made Takaku to grab the ropes to escape. Just a few seconds later, Bas had Takaku in a triangle choke from the guard, which made Takaku to grab the ropes again to escape. In the 5th minute of the fight, Bas had Takaku in another armbar, which this time Takaku couldn't grab the ropes to escape, so he tapped. Bas fought Osami Shibuya next. In the 4th minute of the fight, Osami took Bas down and went for a knee bar, but Bas was able to reverse the position and submit Osami via a neck crank. Bas's next finish was against Keiichiro Yamamiya. In the 3rd minute of the fight, Bas had Yamamiya in a rear naked choke, but Yamamiya was close to the ropes and hooked it with his legs. However, he went to sleep anyways before the referee could break the grip. The fight continued, and few seconds later, Bas had Yamamiya in another rear naked choke, which this time he tapped. Bas took a 1-year break from the fighting world and came back to fight Kengo Watanabe next. In the 2nd minute of the fight, Bas had Kengo in a Muay Thai clinch and connected with a heavy knee to the head, which dropped Kengo and the countdown was started. Kengo got up and continued to fight just to receive another combination of palm strikes to the head, which made him to fall down for the 10-second countdown again. Kengo got up, but Bas knew he was hurt and went in heavy with another combination, which made Kengo drop for the 3rd time, and based on Pancrase laws, there was no countdown this time and Bas won the fight via knockout. Bas fought in UFC next. His debut was against Tsuyoshi Kosaka in the heavyweight division. Kosaka was a great submissioner, and during the fight he kept taking Bas down to try to submit him, but Bas was able to deny all of them. In the 15th minute of the fight, Bas connected with a knee to the head and then went in with a vicious combination, connecting with knees and a straight right, which made Kosaka to go on the ground and the referee stopped the fight. After finishing Kosaka, Bas fought against Kevin Randleman for the UFC Heavyweight Championship belt and was able to win the fight by a split decision. After winning the belt, Bas took a long break from the fighting world for 7 years and came back in 2006 fighting against Ruben Villarreal in World Fighting Alliance. In the 4th minute of the fight, Bas connected with 2 heavy back-to-back leg kicks which made Ruben to go on the ground and made him unable to continue to fight. This was the last time Bas stepped in the octagon. He will always remain an icon in the world of MMA.